Hello and welcome, my friends. We are live. Hi, Light Steppers. How you guys doing? So today I have a blessing for you guys. I'm gonna be sharing with you guys an amazing gem, a beautiful gem. We're gonna be talking about presenting the opportunity, the period of opportunity. How do you talk to people about this? Like once you get to the point where you understand the compensation plan, when you understand the products, when you understand everything about the business, and you're ready to get in front of a prospect and present to them. What does that look like? What steps should I follow? How do I approach it? And that is what we're doing today. I'm gonna show you guys exactly the template that I use that I've learned from top leaders in the company, and then that way you guys have a good idea of what you guys can do to get to your goal. So with that being said, we are going to make sure that we know what we stand on. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna go over the Light Steppers the Light Steppers guiding principles. We fill our cups first by honoring our physical, mental, and spiritual health through self-mastery, movement, nutrition, community, and personal development. We model behaviors, habits, and attitudes that demonstrate excellence. By developing individuals, we strengthen families that elevate communities. We believe that integrity, love, and principles are their foundation both for great business and life. We are committed to creating generational health and wealth for our community and beyond. We continually expand our organization by providing the most effective and highest quality products and services available. Everything rises and falls on leadership. The measure of an effective leader is not how many serve them, it is how many people they can serve. So now that we know what we stand on, we've got the little shaker. You know what we do. Now that we know what we stand on, then we can dive into what the presentation can look like and what's an effective way that we found to help people get started. So I'm going to share my screen again. See, and we'll jump right in. Okay. Okay, beautiful. There you go. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about presenting the opportunity. So this is honestly, we're just going to be like very straightforward. This could be prospect that's a customer or that you think should be a great customer or a business partner. This is the approach that I like to take. It allows me to actually, let me see if this actually lets me grab this. Doesn't. Okay, so I'll just show you guys this. So um this is the four-step plan that I use. I actually got this from Coach Wame. She is I believe a Blue Diamond now. She is absolutely fantastic and incredibly knowledgeable. And she shared this template for me that I've been using for I think almost a year, a little bit more than that now. It's been really effective when I'm leading calls for my own prospects and also when I'm doing calls for my prospects, which is ultimately what we all want to do, right? So four-step plan, of course. Um, and this is sandwiched between an intro and an outro. So make sure that you practice this. And in between this, there's also transitions. So make sure that you master that. And most importantly, make sure that you jump in on three-way connects with your mentor so you can hear the transitions that they're using so that it can make your presentation a little bit smoother. And the intro, of course, we want to make sure that we introduce the people on the call. We want to make sure that we are letting the prospect know who your upline is, what they do, their achievements. We want to make sure we're edifying our upline so that the prospects knows like, oh, this is really someone who knows what they're talking about on this call. And kind of complete that loop of trust and respect that we want to look for in every three-way connection. So as we do that, make that introduction, go over everyone that's on the call, then this is very important. And it's something that honestly a lot of people miss out on is connection, especially because there's people who jump into the business and they approach it from a sales perspective. They're like, all right, sell, close, close, close. And the problem with that is that they're starting with the last step. And what we found for the system that we have implemented for decades now is that approaching it from a relationship perspective, from instead of having a transactional conversation, we're having a transformational conversation with a prospect. What that means is during the first stage of the conversation, and this could be different amounts of time depending on who you're talking to. If it's someone that you've never spoken to before, I would recommend allowing at least 10 minutes to connect. And this literally just means talking to the person. Highly recommend making them laugh so they can loosen up, they can trust you a little bit more, and just get to know the person. Like let them get to know you too, so that it's a reciprocal conversation. It's not just one-sided. So there's connection, of course. So make sure you take the time. It form is a good template to follow if you like. Well, I don't even know what to talk about. Family, occupation, recreation, and money. So form. So if you don't know, like what do I talk about to these people I've never met or a prospect, my prospect that I feel like I have nothing in common with. Form. So ask them about their family, ask them about their occupation, what they do for work, ask them about recreation, hobbies, things that they like to do for fun, and then ask them about money. So from there, you can talk to someone for a million years. So that should be more than helpful to expand your connection skills. And from there, also, I want to emphasize that it's someone that you already know, someone that you already like been speaking to, and you guys are they even been to a call already. We can jump. It's a lot like the conversation is a lot hotter. I would recommend keeping the connection no longer than 3 minutes. Like that's more than enough. If someone that you already know, let's say someone it's your gym partner that you see every day and that's your boy, and you know everything about his life. 3 minutes, yo, how you been? How's your day going? Like if you haven't seen him in a couple of weeks, like kind of fill each other in and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. Like yes, 10 to maybe 15 minutes with someone who's brand new that you never actually spoken to before. Um, and then 2 to 3 minutes with someone that you already have a connection with. And then we dive into the pain points and their story. You want to get to know the person. You want to get to know what fuels them. So this is when we start really asking them about their goals and their visions, the future. This is the future of the conversation. So here you get a little bit of the past and you'll get a little bit of the present. Here we start talking about the future. And as you'll notice as we talk about the future and where they want to go and their goals, whether it's financial or health wise, pain points will arise because they're usually goals. There's a gap between where they are and where they want to go, and that's usually filled with a lot of pain points. So here we can figure out what their pain points are. Meaning, like let's say you're talking to someone, they're like, I really just want to have a sits back. I want to make sure that I can run a 5K when I want to. I want to do all those things, but I literally can't even look at my feet, like all this, whatever that might be. Those you can start diving into those pain points and make sure that you start asking why. Like when people start sharing their pain points and their especially their goals, like if someone tells you like I want to put on 20 pounds of lean muscle, be like, oh, that's awesome. Yes, definitely support it. But then also ask like why? Like why do you like, like, well, how come? Because that's way more important than the goal itself. Because that's gonna tell you their real goal. Like what are they trying to achieve? Maybe it's like they want to impress their girlfriend. Maybe they want to look good for that dress. Whatever that might be. So make sure that as you dive into their future, you allow the time for their pain points to arise. And then this can be really scary too, because you're asking people to be very vulnerable with you and ask you things and answer questions that they probably never answered for anyone else before. Sometimes even their wife, like or their husband, their best friends, and never even told any of these things. So don't feel bad if they're a little bit defensive or closed off a little bit. Allow honestly what I like to do is I like to be vulnerable and sharing a little bit about me. Um, so that they can understand that like, hey, like this is mutual. I don't want you to like just think that I'm here to attack you or any kind of way. So just remember that this can be really painful and challenging. So as you dive into this, allow the time to look into that, and then make sure you finish up asking like what one of my favorite questions to ask is like if time and money weren't an issue, what would you be doing? Where would you be living? Like what would your life look like? And from there, you get a lot of information. So like you get like a really good clear picture of people true intentions and goals without all of the fear that you might think that the goals are too big or whatever. But when you start telling them, like, regardless of money or time, like, they're usually more willing. So then once we have that information, then we can basically utilize those pain points and merge it with a solution. So personally, what I've noticed is a lot of people do need a PM solution, right? So the solution a lot of the time is like, my sleep is really crap, I have no energy, very, very common things. My bloating is crazy, like all of these things are pretty common that we deal with. We can flawlessly use those pain points. And I like to say, like, I know you mentioned that that you are struggling with bloating. This is something that we've used that's been really helpful to people in the community, and myself included, if that's the case. And then we can dive into usually the ULT and go over the whole ULT presentation while we're asking questions and utilizing the pain points that we collected in the second phase of the conversation to strengthen the solution. Because otherwise, we're gonna be talking at someone. We don't want that. We want to be talking with someone. And then at the end, we want to close. Usually, my favorite line for closing is one that I got from my mentor, Jill Stafford. Very, 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 very simple, very straightforward. From a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning I never want to hear from you ever again. This is this is not for me at all. And 10 being, if I could get started right now, I would. Where would you land in that scale? Then from there, you either get, like, honestly, I never got a 1, which is great, right? But let's say you get a 10 and then you just easy, right? That's done. Like, your closing sequence is done. Like, you go from all these 3 phases right here, and then from there you immediately you can go, okay, you ready to get started right now? Pull up the website, get the information, get the credit card, next, right? So, and then of course we make sure that we follow up and we support them in their journey. Now we're just gonna, like, out here selling things to people and letting them like go and do their own thing. We want to make sure we're supporting them and providing a great customer service. That's our responsibility. So here, there's also a high chance that they might not be at a 10, they might be at a 9, 9.5, or a 6, or a 4, and that's cool. What I love about um, that strategy is that it lets you know where someone truly stands in regards to the opportunity, and then you can figure out what is needed to fill that gap to go from the 4 to the 10. A lot of the time, it's just information. So I like to ask people, what would get you from a 4 to a 10? And they'll tell you straight up, like, well, like, the price is a little high. Like, I don't know if I could spend $12 a day on 12 salads. Like, that's, too much or whatever. Or or it might be like, I don't really like, I had someone tell me I don't like drinking shakes. And what I love about this part of the conversation is that this is the problem solving part of the conversation. This is where a lot of people actually jump off the call and leave it there. They're like, "Oh, this is not for you. Well, you're at a 6. Damn, I guess just gotta let it go. Well, next person. No, no, no. This is where the fun begins. This is where you can actually get to know the person a little bit more, and then figure out what gaps they're missing. They might even have a knowledge gap that it stops them from understanding that they're worthy of the superfoods, or they might be struggling financially and they might need some support figuring out how to get the money to get their first ULT. I had a mom who she worked at Starbucks, and she saved her tips from Starbucks to get her first ULT. So that kind of idea, like, this is the problem solving part. So understand that. So yes, we want to close. If it doesn't happen, low attachment, high intention all the way through. We do our absolute best to do the best presentation and educate the person the best that we can. Low attachment, meaning that then after we present their opportunity, what they want to do with the opportunity is up to them. I can't do this and then be like, no, you got to take it. Here, this is all the information. Is it in alignment with you? Yes, great. Is it not? Okay, cool. Or like, okay, it'll be here. Not even put it away. Like, it'll just be here whenever you're ready. So if the close doesn't happen in the call, especially if you have another call happening and you're out of time for whatever reason, make sure your calls 30 minutes, for sure. Like hour-long meetings can be really rough on your calendar and your schedule. So half an hour is more than enough. And then you want a BAMFAM. So what BAMFAM means is book a meeting from a meeting. That means that you do not leave a call without the next date picked out on each other's calendar. So you want to make sure the person's the next exposure is already scheduled on the person's calendar. We want to find out when nets are they available to get more information about what we do, whether that is more videos, whether that is an in-person connection, whether that is invite them to an event, whether it is virtual or in-person event, regardless, what's next for this person? What are the next? I like to think in my head, what are the action steps from this call? We cannot leave a call without action steps. I like to have 1 to 3 action steps at the end of every call because it allows us to move the conversation forward and not just let it sit stagnant and like do nothing. That's it. Then from there, of course, once that's done, and closing or BAMFAM is done, reconnect. Like make sure you go back to connection, make sure you're closing a high note, remind them that you're a person and make sure that you guys like, again, if you can make them laugh, that's awesome. If you're not super funny like me, then I'm sorry about that. That's rough on you. Just kidding. Like just be yourself, have fun, joke around, take some risks. It'll be fun for you and for them. So that's the main thing that I wanted to share with you guys today. This has been massively helpful for me. And as you guys can see, this is just a template. This is just a framework for you to fill in as you do your presentations. I'm not telling you what to say word for word because that would honestly, I don't think it would work for the business. I think it would make it really robotic, and that's the last thing we want. This is a relationship-based business. So I want to make sure that you're sharing a little bit about you and your own flow, your own little spice, like your own little twist. Make it your own. But in my head, I can tell you, and you probably being on calls with me with prospects, if you're watching this video, is that this is the template that I'm following in my head. I had it as a sticky note on my laptop for some time, but now I don't need it anymore, luckily, because it's just for those 4 steps. So I wrote those 4 steps on a laptop, on my laptop, and then put it on my wall eventually, just so I could be reminded of those steps. That's it. From there, like the conversation feels itself in. I'm mindful of the time, so I'm making sure that I give myself enough time to present the solution, and then also give myself enough time to close and deal with objections, because you probably will get objections about time, money, whatever. Like you get all kinds of objections about how this wouldn't work or stuff like that. So make sure you allow yourself that time. That's why I said 10 minutes for a new person, 15 if you really have to, or if they're really being open and vulnerable and just sharing, that's even more valuable. But keep under 10, 2 to 3 minutes if it's someone you already know. That's it. Honestly, that's the main thing that I wanted to share with you guys. I am very excited for the work you're going to be doing here at Line Steppers and the next steps moving forward, especially when we're out there in Latin America and Africa and Asia and Europe. I haven't been to Europe yet. So we're going to be out there doing some events and living our best lives. And it requires work. Honestly, it requires presentation. You have to know how to present. You have to be able to present. Like I say have to. I very rarely say have to, but I have a really tough time figuring out how you can be successful in the business without presenting. Or even worse, like I have a hard time understanding how the business can be fun without you mastering the skill of presenting, because that's going to allow you to present in front of groups of people. That's going to help you lead. It's also an amazing life skill. So presenting is crucial. I decided I'm gonna present as many times as I humanly can every day so that I can get better, just like I'm doing on this call, because it does not hurt to become a better speaker. And what's better than getting paid for speaking? Like I'm actually getting my first few speaking engagements coming up this summer because of this. I hated public speaking, but it's a really awesome tool, and there's also another income stream, and we're all about creating generational wealth and multiple streams of income. So let's make sure we tap into that. Yeah, with that being said, let's get these reps in. Let's present. Let's ask for feedback from people who have done what we want to do, and let's implement that feedback immediately so that we can level up and we can serve the people that need serving, because people are praying for what we have. And let's make sure we answer those prayers. God put us in these